I'm so sick of people generalizing that all millennials complain about everything, narcissists who are only self involved, and pigeonhole us as pussies because we actually give a shit about our fellow man and calling us overly feminine. It's like, not overly feminine, we do care about things. Nail polish is drying, hold on. So I've been wanting to do a video about millennial specific, been waiting for a good time. However, after having a lot of conversations as of late, and then looking up how we categorize generations here in America since the start, it's really fascinating. I learned that the first generation of people to come over here was called the Lost Generation. They came over in the early 1900s, so they would have been born between 1880 and 1900, and that would have been the crew who really saw America for what it was, this new land, this meeting of people who were kind of confused. It's like starting a new job. You're kind of waiting to see what's going on. After that, you had the greatest generation. They're known as that because they lived and fought through the Great Depression. After that was the baby boomers. That's a really big generation. That's why it got its name, Baby Boom. But they were probably most of our parents, so that's probably where they fall. After them are Gen X. That's kids born roughly from 65 to about 84-ish. So millennials are just the classification of kids born from roughly 1980 to about 2000. It's really the kids in the last two generations of the 90s, right before 9/11. And I think that's the biggest impact of why our thinking is different. Follow me on this journey, shall we? No, but for real, I actually don't give a shit what people think about millennials, but I have been on a huge tirade lately to try to convince people that millennials aren't bad, and it's not a bad word. It's a really smart, forward-thinking generation, and out there to do great things. And yeah, we're stumbling along the way, all generations do, but instead of this mudslinging back and forth about why the baby boomer generation is depleting all Social Security because there's too many of them and they're still in their jobs, therefore millennials aren't able to move up, but not necessarily baby boomers' fault when they themselves were raised in a time when they were told that Social Security was going to be there for when they were done working. Now, having a mother who retired last year myself, I know that pensions are rare and retirements, the packages aren't as nice as a lot of companies want them to sound to millennials because millennials aren't thinking about retiring. Some of these companies don't even care about people who've worked for them for 20, 30 plus years. It's really sad. But where I want this conversation about millennials to go is you're getting this generation of kids who want change. We're not happy with how things are. We want things to be better for future generations than what we had, but we also understand that we've been lied to a lot. We're the first generation to really call out publicly the whitewashing of history. We're not okay with lying to future generations about what they can have, what they have been given, and what they should fight for. I think we're a generation of loudspeakers, kids who were raised having to talk over people, and you're seeing the side effects of what parenting from a generation of people who were raised to think work hard and you gain reward. Well, the marketplace has changed. Society has changed. Our way of viewing how society should be has changed. And yet we still hold people by their generational ideals. We need to all start advancing where we think humanity needs to go. It's really cool that we have baby boomers that we can look back at and get history and knowledge about what's happened before and how to avoid pitfalls coming up. We have Generation X that can give us more of a voice on speaking out against things that aren't right, oppressors, and trying to get our way. And then with millennials, I think you're really starting to see the action from those two movements prior. You're just dealing with a different beast. Yeah, you're getting some representation of a generation that shows us that our education system is failing us because kids can't even complete sentences and they don't know sentence structure and nobody can spell worth a damn, and you have things like Twitter that encourage you to compress your verbiage. But then on the other hand, that's what I love about millennials. They're forcing other generations to be okay with change at a more rapid pace. I like the idea of having to be comfortable with language changing because we are not in control of anything. We like to think that there are secure, concrete things in life, but absolutely everything can go away. Everything can disappear. Language can become something new. We've seen everything at one point end and something new take its place. That's just what is meant to happen. So it kind of makes you wonder when millennials talk in all emojis. Is that going to become a language? Is that our new modern day hieroglyphics? And if so, I claim poop emoji. Okay, I'm going to use that all the damn time. We're just going to confuse future generations on what shit was, okay? Yeah, side note, I'm not crazy. I paint my nails with a full stroke up because who cares if it gets on your skin? That shit rubs off like after 2 hand washes and your nails are on fleek. Like every part of the nail was touched. Glossy, lines on point. Like, it's just, I don't know why more people don't just like dip in like it's paint, right? Like that's how I have no patience, so I can't sit there and I think one of the most important things to remember when discussing things that categorize a bunch of people into one group is you are going to cast a broad net here, okay? You're picking up a lot of fish. So not everybody's going to be alike. You are going to have the hyperactive 18-year-old who's a super narcissist into taking selfies all day, doesn't give a shit, and just wants to buy a ton of clothes and listen to Justin Bieber. And that's okay. She can be 18. He can be 18. That's awesome. Live your life. You're going to become and evolve into a different person. That's awesome. Live your life. Like, nobody's judging. However, on the other end, you have those extreme, like, I'm ready to pound down the wall in corporate America and break glass ceilings and make it easy and accessible for everybody my age to move up quickly, and really feel a positive change in your career path. I think both of these sides are good. You have one that's bringing a childlike, energetic influence, and you have another that's really busting balls. I think our generation is going to do so much good. I'm seeing such good motivation coming out of people my age and younger. It's really cool to see social media helping us. That's on our side. I mean, we connect to people our age all over the world in an instant. That's the coolest thing since sliced bread. And sliced bread's pretty cool, right? It just makes me worried that when we pigeonhole all of these people as, ooh, I hate millennials because they're so narcissistic, or they're overly feminine because they care too much. Like, why are you complaining about that? Yeah, men who actually care about each other and care about women, that's an amazing thing. We need more of that, more compassion, more love. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like to slice a bitch down and slay every now and then. It's fun to have a little bit of a sardonic, dark sense of humor every now and then. Don't kill it, it's fun. Don't try to censor everyone. But know that it's all in jest. Like, we're all living life together. If I get road rage with you and we're cursing it out at each other on the highway, that doesn't mean I don't love you as a person. That means you acted like an asshole and I'm calling it out. That's okay. We need to be able to have a banter where not everything is a lawsuit. And not everything is a court case, and not everything is Channel 6, because we have things that are really fucking going on. We have people dying, and we have people who don't know where their next meal's coming from. We have refugees being refused warm, comfortable land just because we don't know how to stop the squabble, right? Like, come on, let's grow up. Let's be adults. Let's take care of the world. We're privileged enough to live in a country where we have means. Even poor folks. I'm not wealthy. I haven't had money in a minute. Like, I fucking deal with the not being able to fall asleep because you don't have tons of money to cushion yourself and pay all your bills on time, and student loan debt's overwhelming, and blah, blah, blah. We get it, but, you know, you remove those immediate problems that you think are so overwhelming. If you take those away and live in the now for just a second, and you say to yourself, what's wrong with me right now? This is where millennials kick ass, because they're able to see, you know what? Nothing is. Everything's okay. Life's okay. We're gonna be okay. Money's fake. Money's fake, and the people that the United States owes money to are families. Families sitting on so much money, they wouldn't even know if they were missing $1 trillion. Like, this shit's real, you know? We don't have to keep pretending that we have to go to war to try to spread democracy. We can do that peacefully. We don't need to invade countries to persuade to take on our lifestyle. How about let's lead a lifestyle they'd want to take on. I mean, I understand the whole extremists and people who rebel against a place of freedom, a place of open worship, because they don't want freedom, and they don't want their people to see that because they want to oppress and control. However, our way to fight that should be more love and compassion. It shouldn't be war. It doesn't make sense to keep this going, and millennials see that. And that's why I love people like Jaden Smith and Russell Brand, Miley Cyrus, Edward Snowden, like all of these people, these young people, some risking everything just to share the truth and to expose us to a side of reality that we think can exist because we work 9 to 5s and we were raised in church and blah blah blah. You have all your reasons why life should circulate around your ideals. It's not true, and that's not how humanity works, and it never will. It never will. You have to cave. You have to give in to some people some things every now and then. You can't have your way on everything. And we all have to make sacrifices. It's like paying taxes. Also illegal, and we should be up in arms. Like, the whole reason we fought off the British colonies here in America was to oppose taxes, and now we're fucking taking them on daily, every paycheck. People are hungry living on the streets because they're living paycheck to paycheck and cannot keep up on rent and mortgage and bills and financing. It's bullshit. It's scary. The middle class is depleting. We're losing everything that we fought for to build a country of free people. We're losing all of that because we're greedy. And we're being bad people, and we're treating each other with such disrespect. If we started claiming ownership of our mistakes, if we started saying, you know what, the US can't fix everything, but we as a people can, let's work together and let's start putting forth positive ideas and let's start constructing a better world. Let's stop making the world revolve around money. Something I've never understood, which hopefully will catch on like wildfire with my other millennials. Why do we charge money for things that help us? Why do we charge money for food? Shouldn't basic staples be free? Shouldn't stuff like water and maybe like a basic grain and veggies and fruit and stuff shouldn't that be free? I understand there would need to be something worked out with farming and stuff like that, but if we took all of this shit local, if we made communities local and local farmers could feed a community and then that community pays back its farmers with fair trade, I feel like there needs to be a way to incorporate our high technology driven world to a more easy, simplistic way of life, because humanity cannot survive solely on technology. We can't just rely on technology to take care of us the rest of our lives. We need to keep evolving as a people. We can't shut our minds off. We have to move further. Although shutting our minds off would help decloud the craziness and wake up our consciousness. There's so many thoughts when it comes to this, and that's what I love about being a millennial. I can have all these thoughts, and I'm lucky enough to be born in this time and be alive right now where I can share these thoughts at a moment's notice with anybody who is willing to watch them. It's a really cool time we live in right now, and it's cool that we can share it so easily. So, before you go out and judge a millennial just because they're younger and haven't experienced as much life as you, just know that we do have a worldly view. We do have a compassionate soul. We want to help progress humanity. No one is standing in our way, and we plan on standing in no one's. We like to be loud and cause a ruckus, but only to move us forward. Don't be fooled. Like, we're not trying to fuck shit up. And I think we're going to do more good than any generation before us. Give us time, and hopefully we're able to teach the next generation coming up under us how to be more compassionate and how to live with your fellow man in a better way that makes it so maybe we're able to find something so cool that makes the 20th century look like shit. Right? Like, maybe we're able to get out of here. What if space exploration becomes a better future for us? Let's stop using fossil fuels and start using energy efficient, renewable resources. The sun provides so much energy we would never need anything else. Let's figure stuff out. There's wind, there's solar, there's hydrogen, there's some really, really cool things, and they're all possible. Keep forcing people to have conversations they're not comfortable with, because that's how we get progress. And that's what makes this country great. So, continue to have those conversations, continue to kick ass, and continue to be obnoxious. Alright, I will talk to you later. Have a great day, my fellow millennials. Stay strong.